So you start a new relationship. Welcome to, this is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. And by all accounts, it starts off well. It's you and the girl. Everything's rolling along fine. A few little hiccups when you start. That's not an issue, is it? Get through the first 12 months, no problem, everyone's getting along. Then all of a sudden, things start to deteriorate. Not between you and her. So you think. Somebody starts to infiltrate the relationship. Not another bloke, usually for me, because, well, not in the physical realm, maybe in the emotional realm. What you've got to realise is a lot of these women, when you challenge them psychologically on resolve or things to improve the relationship, if they can't comprehend what you're saying, you're not going to get possibly the outcome that you desire. What will happen is, to go against the abrasion of whatever the problem is that needs to come into line to help things keep moving forward, they'll soothe. Unresolved has a way of making people bend towards their evil. Everybody's got a way of self-soothing. It might be sitting down thinking, watching telly, it might be through their children, it might be through a drink at night, it might be through weed, it might be through psychedelics. It also might be through going to somebody outside the relationship and asking advice, hopefully wiser than the person that's in the situation, or neutral at least. And you can do all these things, but if you're not fixing the problem, you're not fixing the problem. And what happens is, the unresolved's got a way of blistering evil. It's sore. It keeps rubbing on the external piece of skin. It's starting to get inflamed. And all these little irritations and aggravations inside the psyche, through the lack of unresolved, is going to work on everybody, because you don't want to see your partner struggling. You definitely don't want to see your partner showing unfavourable characteristics and not looking at the relationship with an element of value in the way in which you would think they'd get things in order. And so you find yourself in this crossbow situation where you can move things forward, or you're starting to say, oh my goodness, what's happening here? Well, when this happens, you are in a really difficult spot. Or are you? If you've got your game on, or if you're playing your part in the relationship, you're trying to understand, you're trying to be there, even though that's limited. What you'll find is, if a woman's limiting you access to her, she's not got any value for you. She's got other values that are more important than you. And does that matter? Not necessarily. You can play that to your advantage. That's not an issue at all. You can play that to advantage. But what will happen is, when push comes to shove, you're not going to get the essence that you need out of that person to back up the relationship. It's just not going to be there, because they're too split. Now, they'll say all the words and they'll say what they think you want to hear, and they'll think that that's blindsiding you from what's actually underplaying the health of the relationship. And at this point, you need to be going, this person's not what I thought they were. They're not what they're saying they were going to put into the relationship, and they think they've got you, probably because of past experiences, I don't know, in a situation that you can't get out of. But you've shown them in the past that you'll tolerate so much. You've shown them in the past that if you get mucked around, you'll kick them to the curb, and they just go through the motions all again, and the next thing you know, there's no relationship. She hasn't got a relationship. She's gone back to her default, which was part of her self-prophecy of knowing that the relationship probably won't work, so I'll return to my default. All the effort and goodness that's gone into it gets flushed down the drain, like no different to a grease trap truck. And then you're standing there and you're going, that was absolutely incredible. People aren't always what they perceive to be. They want the relationship, but they don't want to do the work. When you run into these ones, know what you're dealing with and deal with it accordingly. Detach. At the first sign of trouble, detach. Continue along. See what's really going on underneath. Find what the problem is, who the problem is, and you'll see that you were probably being spoken about the whole time. You were probably being complained about the whole time. And that's why the problem never got resolved. And who loses? Well, if you kept your head and you saw what was going on, it shouldn't be you, because you've played your part with all the integrity that you can until this person's psychologically worn you out. Unresolved's a form of emotional abuse. It's psychological assault. And when people are psychologically assaulting you and they don't think you're aware of it, you can watch the theatre. You can watch what the problem is, how that person's dealing with it, how they're portraying themselves to be relative to their position both in the problem and in your life. And you can make your evaluations and assessments on the relationship and where it's headed on the run. You can watch these people completely deluded about where they think the relationship is, how they think they're behaving, and how blind they think you are. And when you finally tell them to that you can't do this anymore, that your situation being the partner has become all too much, it's too much to handle, it's too dysfunctional, it's too toxic, you've made no effort to fix it, and you don't have any value for the relationship. Well, when you tell them to go, the problem that they've failed to deal with over 12 months, they'll leave in 5 minutes. And then that's the show all completed. That's the self-prophecy fulfilled. At whose expense? Well, it better not be at yours. You should know how to play the game. You should know how to read the signs. You should know when somebody's not living up to the expectations of an exclusive, committed relationship, that trouble's coming. You will find out eventually where that person's life is, and it'll be where their loyalty is. If their loyalty's to unresolved, they'll go back to the unresolved. And don't be one of these people that worry about karma and all this stuff. If you're living your life right, it'll continue to go on right. If the person that you were with turned towards unresolved, well, guess what? That's what they've got to look forward to. A whole lot of unresolved. They won't change. They don't know how to change. If they were going to change, they would have changed for you based on your performance. A lot of these people don't know what good is. They don't know when they're in a place that's going to work to their benefit, and they choose to stay in their dysfunction. They say they want peace. They say they want a life that's healthy and all the rest of it, but at the expense of people that are pedestalized and self-centered and selfish and working in dark triad micro incremental characteristical traits, they go back to that because that's what they're used to. But let them. You go on with your normality, you go on in your peace, you go on in your healthiness and building your character, and just let those people go back to where they were. The last thing these people want to see is you going on. They don't want to see that because they don't know how to themselves. They've spent their life working, they've made good money, they've wasted it all, they've wasted each other, they've encouraged each other to be that way, their thoughts towards life aren't right, they hate people, they despise themselves, and they pedestalized each other in their muck and mire. Don't you worry about that. You stay on your course. You stay on your purpose. If your results are showing for all those years that you put into your life, you look at how much life you've got left ahead, who you're going to allow to be in it, and if these people think they're going to waste it on oppression and all this other stuff, let them go. Because there's going to be people that come in that are going to appreciate the blessing like this other person or these other people did when they first come along. That's just how it works. Let them go. Let them go back to where they struggled before you come along. Let them go back to what they think they're going to find that might be better or not. And let them go back to the life that they had before you came, and you go on the way you are, and you stay on top of your love and your health and your strength, and share it with people that are going to work it out in a way in which resolve matters, life matters, health matters, and the happiness of everyone matters, not just the happiness of a couple of dysfunctional people that are being pedestalized to the point where they don't even know the difference between dark triad micro characteristic behavior and healthy behavior. Stand up for your partner. If you're in love with someone, if you've got someone in your life and they're important to you, stand up for them. Don't be one of these weak people that sit on the fence and go, nah, I'm not going to fix that. That's not worth it, but I'll keep turning up. I'll wing it for as long as I can. And then when these people get turfed, I don't know what that, I've never had that happen to me, so I don't know what that's like. But one way or another, you've done them a favour. You've shown them that there's people in life that just won't muck around with rubbish and nonsense. Does it mean you weren't worth anything? No, that's why you were there. Does it mean that that person didn't mean anything? No, that's why they let you there. But when push comes to shove and it gets down to the crossroads in life where things are going to be either working for the relationship or against it, and they go against it, go on without them. The relationship's not worth where your peace and happiness and prosperity is headed in life. That's all there is to it. Don't let people undermine the true nature and unity and harmony of a relationship for values that they have outside it that are just not worth your time or problems. Yeah, you've shown that you care. You've shown that there can be resolve. If people aren't interested in that, remove yourself. Let them go where they're going to go. Let them do what they're going to do. It's not going to impact you. Stay straight, stay strong, look after this, look after your body. And you'll see people come along that want to get in there and really contribute and do the right thing and maintain that. That's how life works. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, Theologist, on the Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel and Pro One Theologist YouTube channel. Be real. Stand for love. Bye for now.